Welcome to
Kawaii Stories for GIGI Kids.
a place where
Kids like us
will be inspired
by awesome Christian stories.
Hi GIGI Kids, it's Esther here.
And it's Poppy.
And today we are in our story treehouse and we want to tell you about the book of the month.
Once a month, we'll give you a sneak peek and tell you about one of our books.
Yes, so find a comfortable spot and let's see which book Poppy has for us today.
Today I have an audiobook for you and it's called Mei and Ginger, the Turtle Dilemma. I will read what the story is about. This story covers the fruit of the spirit, self-control. Meiling Jade Carter is excited as she embarks on a family holiday to Turtle Cove with her parents and Ginger, her fluffy fat cat. She loves animals and wants to keep every single one she sees. At the island, she makes friends with the ranger's son Lucas, who has a super adorable cockatiel and knows so much about animals and Turtle Cove. Mei also goes on a night tour to watch a turtle hatchlings make their way to the ocean. Mei is mesmerised and she wants to keep one, but she knows she can't. These baby turtles need the water to live. One night, during a severe storm, Mei finds a little hatchling that didn't quite make it to the ocean. With her heart thumping and trembling fingers, she picks it up and takes it to her room. She doesn't tell anyone that she has the little turtle. But what if it gets sick and dies? What can she do?
That sounds like a great story, Poppy.
I know.
My friend Helen is going to read you a few chapters of this book, a sneak peek. You will also hear some sounds and music along the way.
Meiling Jade Carter is 8.5 years old. She has black hair, almond eyes, and a cheeky smile. She loves Ginger, her fluffy fat cat, raspberry gooey donuts, and baby turtles. But those cute baby turtles will give her a lot of problems. Let's find out what happens. Chapter 1. Turtle Cove Island. Meiling Carter closed her eyes and squealed as another spray of cool ocean water showered her face. Licking away the taste of salt from her lips, Mei looked out over the crystal blue water again. A squeaky whistle sound and a splash in the water caught her attention. "Dolphins!" she shouted, trying to compete with the loud sound of the motorboat. Turning to her mum and dad, Mei pointed to where she could see the grey aquatic creatures racing alongside their boat, jumping and diving. The constant buzz, buzz, buzzing of the boat did not seem to scare off the beautiful dolphins. She leaned slightly over the rail and watched, mesmerised, as they did tricks in the air. Other passengers moved closer to the rail to watch the show. The dolphins kept doing their stunts, and Mei cheered and clapped. It felt like the show was just for her. Did a dolphin just look at her? Mei giggled. Oh, how she would love to have a pet dolphin. "Mei, honey," her mum said, bending down to talk in her ear. "Look over there." Reluctantly, Mei looked away from her new best friends and turned to where her mum was pointing. "It's Turtle Cove Island. We're almost there. She finished saying, although her last few words were stolen by the sound of the boat engine and carried away by the wind. Little butterflies of excitement danced in May's stomach as she saw the island come into view. "Yay! Finally!" she squealed, turning one last time to watch her dolphin friends disappear under the water and swim away. "I guess I can't keep them as pets," she whispered sadly. "What did you say, honey?" her mum asked. May shook her head. "Nothing." It didn't take long to reach the island, and May stood fascinated watching the crew work. Quickly and effortlessly, they tied up the boat and set up a boarding ramp for the passengers to get off. "Come on, May," her mum said, handing her her little backpack and holding her hand. "Wait!" May pulled her hand away and started heading inside the cabin. "Where's Ginger?" The last thing she wanted was to leave Ginger, her fluffy fat cat, on the boat alone. "Your father went to get him. He'll meet us at the bus. Come on." With that, her and Mum walked down the ramp hand in hand.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Turtle Cove Island. I'm Jason Wilson, and I'm one of the wildlife rangers here at Turtle Cove.
May peered at the ranger. He was very tall, taller than her dad. He had a red beard, a ranger khaki hat with red hair peeking out from under it, and a khaki uniform. Mr. Wilson saw her watching him and winked. May giggled and looked away. He seemed very nice and kind. Just then, she heard a familiar meow, although it sounded tired and slightly cranky. "Ginger!" she whispered loudly. Dad had him in his pet carrier. He looked bored and sleepy as she greeted him, but he licked the finger she poked through the little gaps of the carrier. "Poor Ginger," she whispered, feeling sorry for him. She could understand he was tired, being all cooped up for hours. May yawned. She was tired too, and she had been able to move around. She couldn't wait to get to their apartment, change her salty ocean clothes, maybe go swimming, and let Ginger roam free. Soon, the crew carried theirs and the other passengers' luggages to the little island bus, which had large ocean turtles painted on the side. May twirled with delight. She couldn't wait to start her island holiday adventure. Looking around to make sure she wasn't being watched, she quickly pulled out a little tuna stick treat from her zipped pocket and fed Ginger before getting on the bus. The treat seemed to make him happy. Once at their apartment, May let Ginger out of his little carrier and raced around looking for her room. Ginger chased after her, enjoying the freedom and running free.
May, honey, she heard her dad call. We're going to go and look round the island before dinner. Ginger can come.
Oh, yippee!
May scooped Ginger in her arms and gave him a big fat kiss on his ginger fur.
Did you hear that, Ginger?
Ginger purred happily and rubbed his head on her chest.
Just make sure you put his vest harness with the leash, Dad finished saying.
Okay, Dad, she called out. Come on, Ginger. She pulled out the blue vest harness and leash from Ginger's little luggage and wrapped it gently around him. It's time to explore! Chapter 2. Lucas and Goldie. Ginger pranced and jumped as they walked through some beautiful parkland on the island. May tightened her grip on his leash. Ginger was not going to run off. They walked past the island's wildlife park, and May stopped to take a peek at what she would see.
Oh, wow! Look! Look!
She pointed, shrieking with joy. A koala with a baby perched on her back was quickly climbing up the tree. Ginger meowed and tugged at the leash.
Settle, Ginger,
May said, still hypnotized by the koalas. How she wished she could have them as pets.
Can we look?
Mei asked her mum and dad. Mum laughed and grabbed Mei by the shoulders. Come on, Mei, let's look around first. We will come back later this week.
Okay.
Unwillingly, Mei walked away, her heart wanting the baby koala to be hers. Mei looked around with big round eyes as she spotted tall palm trees, flocks of birds flying over them, and some wild lizards scurrying by the pathway. There were little huts along the water, canoes lined up along the shore floating gently on the clear blue water, a surf shop, an ice cream shop, which Mei knew they would definitely visit later, a beautiful jewellery shop, which looked like she wouldn't be allowed in. There was definitely lots to see. Ginger brought her back to earth and Mei chuckled.
Oh, look, Ginger, she said, pointing to some signs. It says that there are 8 different walking trails. Cool,
she exclaimed, looking at her mum and dad and grinning from ear to ear.
This is the bestest holidays ever.
She picked up Ginger in her arms and twirling and twirling. Finally feeling very dizzy but happy, she put him down and they continued walking around the island. Mei hoped 8 days on the island would be enough time to do and see everything. As the sun began to set, Mei couldn't help but gasp.
Oh, it's beautiful,
she whispered as she held onto Ginger's leash with one hand and her mum's hand with the other. It looked like the big paintings she'd seen at the museums. Lots of reds, oranges and yellows splashed across the sky. Her dad asked a man walking past to take a picture of the 4 of them. Mei smiled as she held Ginger in her arms. Then her stomach rumbled and they all laughed. Okay, her dad said. Let's go back to the apartment, drop Ginger off and head off for dinner. They say that the seaside buffet restaurant is delicious.
Yes, please,
Mei and her mum chorused together. Sitting down to dinner was exciting. Mei couldn't remember the last time they'd eaten in front of the water. It was so pretty. There were lots of glossy boats in the marina. Dad had called them luxury yachts. Mei and her mum went to serve their dinner first, whilst her dad took more pictures and talked to some of the staff. The buffet was impressive and Mei's eyes bulged seeing so much food. She almost gagged when she spotted a whole fish on a large platter with googly eyes. Ugh! She definitely didn't want to eat that. Her eyes gleamed when she noticed the dessert buffet, loaded with cakes, sweet pastries, fresh fruits, custard and jam donuts. Her mouth dropped and instantly reached out for one. No, Mei, dinner first, her mum said in a serious tone. Mei moaned. After your food, you can have one for dessert.
Yay!
After walking around the buffet a few times, Mei chose some pasta with sauce and cheese and garlic bread. It smelled delicious. When they arrived back at their table, she saw that Dad was talking to the wildlife ranger who had winked at her earlier that day. He was with a dark-haired lady in a pretty floral dress and a boy who seemed to be her age and looked like a mini version of the wildlife ranger with the same red hair and khaki clothes. Except he didn't have a beard. Amy, honey, Dad began as he saw Mei and Mum approach. You remember Jason Wilson? This is his wife Melissa and their son Lucas. Lovely to meet you, Mum said as she shook their hands. I'm Amy and this is our daughter Mei. Mei, honey, say hello. Mum nudged her.
Oh, sorry, hello.
Mei blinked a few times. She was too distracted by the striking white and yellow bird sitting on Lucas's shoulder.
Would you like to pat him?
Lucas asked.
Can I?
Mei asked in disbelief. Nodding, Lucas came closer to Mei.
His name is Goldie. He's a cockatiel. I've had him for a year. I have a cat and his name is Ginger. He's good, but can be a little cheeky,
Mei said, as she gently stroked Goldie's feathers. Say,
Why don't you join us for dinner? Seems Lucas, May and Goldie are friends. Dad and everyone laughed as Goldie started whistling. He likes you, Lucas grinned. May smiled timidly as she kept on stroking Goldie. Her feathers were soft. Everyone sat down to have dinner. Mr. Wilson spoke up. We can't stay long because I have a turtle hatching tour tonight. May's ears perked up. Mr. Wilson told them about the night tours he did to see the baby turtles hatch and make their way into the ocean. Dad loved the idea so much he booked them a tour for the following night. May couldn't wait. Having dinner together was very fun. May found out that Lucas had just turned 10. He got to live on the island, but had to catch the boat to go to school. It was all so different, and May thought he was lucky. May also found out that Mrs. Wilson worked in the beautiful jewellery shop she had seen earlier, and she had invited them to come and visit her and have a look round. Soon, everyone said goodnight, and the Wilsons headed off for the night. May waved goodbye to her two new friends, Goldie and Lucas. It had been a super fun night, and Goldie had even sat on her shoulder. Oh, how she would love to have a pet cockatiel.
Chapter 3. The Jewellery Shop. Next morning couldn't come soon enough. May was up early and counting down the hours until they had their turtle night tour. Luckily, it was going to be a busy day, and she wouldn't be bored. Not that such a thing could happen on Turtle Cove Island. First, they would have a small breakfast and then head down to the pier to board a glass-bottom boat. May hadn't heard of such a thing before, but Lucas had explained it to her over dinner last night, and it sounded super cool.
The boat glides over the sea, he had said. It has a clear, transparent bottom which gives you a clear view into the sea. You will be able to see different sea creatures in their habitat, and you'll feel like you're underwater with them.
Lucas had finished saying, really excitedly. May just couldn't wait.
Ready, May, honey? Her father asked.
May nodded and clapped her hands.
Ginger's still sleeping, she whispered. I think he's enjoying the holiday too.
I think you're right, her dad answered as Ginger snored away.
Make sure you have your hat, sunglasses and your drink bottle, her mother said, walking into the living room and straight to May. It's going to be a long day and I don't want you sunburned or dehydrated.
Okay, Mum,
May mumbled as her mum rubbed sunscreen around her face, mouth and chin. She hugged a sleepy Ginger, grabbed her backpack and headed to the door, ready for her cool boat adventure. Walking towards the pier, May could see they were up early. Some of the little stores were not open, and some were just about to open. Oh, James, look, there's Melissa, her mother said, waving to Lucas's mum. We have a few minutes before we have to meet the boat. Let's go see her little shop. I want to buy something for Layla. May nodded. She loved Layla. She was the bestest babysitter she had ever had. She was like her auntie. Amy, James, May, it's so lovely to see you, Mrs. Wilson said to them. I'm so glad you stopped by. This is a nice, quiet time for the shop. Come, look round. As they walked through the door, the little bell above the door chimed, announcing their arrival. May liked the sound. The little jewellery shop was really pretty and not for children. Everything was in or behind glass cases, and May walked around the shop curiously. There were gold and silver pieces, some with gems and opals, others with pearls, and some with words engraved in them. May, come and see this. May heard her mother call her. Wouldn't this little brooch be lovely for Layla? May walked quickly and carefully over to her mum and dad's side and tiptoed to see what she was looking at. She needed to see what they chose for Layla.
Oh, wow,
Mei whispered. It really was pretty, and Layla would definitely like the opal in the middle. Can you put this aside for me? Her mum asked Mrs. Wilson. I don't want to take it on the boat with me. I'd rather pick up this afternoon. Of course, not a problem, and because it's a gift, I'll wrap it up too. I'll go get its box, Mrs. Wilson said, disappearing into a room behind her. Mei stared at everything. The shop was super sparkly. Oh, she really wanted all the gems. If only she could take some with her. Mei was hypnotized and didn't hear when Lucas came into the shop until she heard the adults say, "Hi, Lucas," they all chorused. Mei turned round and waved to her friend. "Lucas, what are you doing here?" his mother asked. "I thought you were at the boat with your father."
Dad said I had to come get the Carters. We're going to leave a few minutes earlier since everyone arrived early.
Oh, we better go then,
Dad said, following Lucas out the door. Thank you, Melissa. I'll pick up the package this afternoon. Mum grabbed May's hand. Mei pulled away abruptly and turned back to admire the sparkly jewels. If only she could touch it. Better yet, if only she could wear them.
Mei,
her mum said, surprised at May's rudeness.
Oops, sorry, Mum,
she said sheepishly. She could feel her face burning red. Quietly, she walked out the door with her mum and waved goodbye to Mrs. Wilson. Lucas ran back from the boat, came up to Mei. No Goldie today? Mei asked, pointing at Lucas's shoulder. Nah, Dad said we have to leave him at home because he's working. We can't take him on the tour.
Yeah, we left Ginger too,
Mei giggled.
Don't want him falling in and getting lost out at sea.
She shuddered at the thought. Mei and Lucas hopped onto the boat to find a seat.
So, boys and girls, I hope you loved listening to Mei and Ginger as much as we did. You can grab your copy today for a special price. Go to gigistorylibrary.com.au. Just scroll down a little and you will see where it says Gigi Kids Library. Or you can click the link below.
So, to get your book is very easy. All you need to do is download the free app called Book Funnel. Purchase your book and it will appear in your library. And the best thing is that you can build your audio library with the GIGI books. We are so excited for you to start listening. We know you will love these stories very much. And you can listen to the stories offline without internet. Isn't that awesome? So if you're going on a long trip or you need some downtime, these books are great.
So don't forget, boys and girls, go to gigistorylibrary.com.au. Scroll down a little and grab your book. See you then. That's all from us till next time. Bye.
Bye. Happy listening.
And don't forget, girls, you are Gigi, gorgeous in God's image. And boys, you are also Gigi, great in God's image.